I'm Nevada McPherson, and welcome to the first episode of Bedtime Noir. This is a video series where I will be reading sometimes from my own work and sometimes from the work of others. And I want to thank you for joining me. And I'm going to go ahead and get started with a little bit from the first chapter of Poser, which is the first of the Eucalyptus Lane novels from Outcast Press. And the next in the series will be coming in March. It's called Cracker. And so we'll go ahead and get started with a little bit from the beginning of Poser. Here goes. Ambrose stares through the dull windshield at the dark, hulking ruins of an abandoned warehouse, never having been to this remote part of San Francisco before. A bad feeling rises in his throat. I don't think he's coming, he says. He'll be here. Quiet construction sites glow in the distance beyond the lonely streets. Juan, at the wheel, smokes a cigarette, watching the rings billow out the window, nodding like he's listening to some tune only he can hear. In the rearview mirror, a pair of headlights turns a corner and pulls toward them. That's him. Juan tosses a cigarette and opens the door. Got your piece, right? Ambrose feels a skittering in the pit of his stomach. It's still in hock. I thought you knew this guy. Just wouldn't want him getting any ideas. The other vehicle, a wreck of a gold Dodge Durango, eases to a stop. Ambrose steps out of the car, trailing Juan as he crosses the street. The driver of the Dodge steps out with a creak. Juan stops short as if expecting someone very different. It's a skinny woman, mushroom white, with bleach blonde hair, shorts, and a halter top despite the brisk weather. Something about her reminds Ambrose of his mom. You Juan? She asked. Who's asking? Manny's home sick, she says. I got your goods in the trunk, but first you gotta show me the cash. Juan smiles, holding up a roll of bills. Let's see what you got, sister. Even in the low light, Ambrose sees the woman's face harden. Juan follows her to the back of the Dodge. She opens the hatch and Juan peers in, saying, Something don't look right. What are you talking about? The chick says. How do I know it's genuine? It's got Manny's stamp on it, see? She hands Juan a package as Ambrose rounds the back of the vehicle, shoulders tensing at the realization this is already not going well. Anybody can rubber stamp a fucking package, Juan says, slightly squeezing it, weighing it in his hand. Let's get Manfred's sick ass on the phone and have some verification. Better yet, maybe I open one of these up and check it out. You don't need to open it, she says. Juan turns to Ambrose. Got a pocket knife? Ambrose reaches into his pocket, scanning the area, unable to shake the feeling that they're being watched. As he grasps it, a figure in black pops up in the back seat and jumps out the opposite side. Look out! Ambrose blurts as the guy lunges. Juan tosses the package at Ambrose, nearly hitting his face. The pale, skinny guy from the car tackles Juan. The pale woman grabs his pistol, fumbling as she gets her hands around it. You throw that roll of dough in the back, she tells the man, her voice higher than before. Juan busts free from the apparent meth head as the whoop of a siren sounds, shattering all their nerves. The skinny woman turns to look, and Juan snatches the pistol from her. Run, he tells Ambrose. All scatter as a police car comes hurtling from the shadows. Another siren blasts as Ambrose races away, clutching the package to his chest. The sound of an unseen motorcycle rips through the air as frantic images flash in his brain of a long-ago evening watching Magnum Force with his drunk-ass daddy back in Riviera, Texas. He reaches the edge of the pier. The motocop speeds towards him and past the squad car paused at the drooping caution tape around an abandoned excavation. Motocop guns the engine. Ambrose steps over the guardrail. Officer Randall Burke skids to a stop, scrambles off his unit, then runs to look over the edge where only black water swishes and laps. He turns, heart racing from the chase and the Adderall he snorted just before duty. He unwraps a stick of gum and pops it in his mouth, surveying the area for something he missed. That bastard's here somewhere, he thinks. Vermin don't just disappear into thin air. Below, Ambrose dangles by one hand, package tucked under his other arm, stamina draining by the second. He looks up, dizzy, and then down again, which is worse. Above, all's gone quiet, or maybe just muffled by the sloshing waves. He shifts the package, biting the corner of the plastic wrap so he can hold the pier with both hands. The package slips and he watches helplessly as it falls, disappearing into the darkness below. He can't even hear its tiny, insignificant splash. His body goes limp as he considers what it would be like to do the same, but he realizes now, facing the prospect, he was never a very good swimmer. Seconds tick by that seem like minutes. Using all his strength, he swings one leg up onto the edge to start the tricky climb back over. He barely makes it, having hung on so long, arms sore, fingers raw, but as soon as he's back on top, he sees Motocop gazing at him, smiling. "What happened to that thing you were carrying?" Ambrose manages to stand up straight, catching his breath. "What thing?" "Guess we could try to fish it out, but my colleagues already discovered your connection over there just had a trunk full of flour mixed with laundry detergent. Is that what you were trying to score?" Ambrose maintains a blank face. "I wasn't here to score anything, officer." The cop still smiles. Unusual for a cop smiling like that. He's chewing gum. "Right. Well, we're hauling in your boy over there on a weapons charge, and they're searching that Dodge, so just for fun, why don't you turn around and put your hands on the rail?" Sighing, Ambrose turns, hands on the rail. "Oh, and spread 'em," Motocop adds. Nothing else to do but comply. No weapons here. The cop grabs him, and Ambrose sees that he's lost his smirk. "Consider yourself lucky." He takes a step closer, speaking quietly, menacingly. "Goddamn lucky. And if I catch you trying to pull any shit again, you'd better make it worth my while." His breath smells minty, but there's something smoldering in his eyes. "Now get the fuck out of here, gutter punk." He gives him a shove. As Ambrose starts walking away from the cop and the edge of the pier, he sees the squad car leaving with Juan in the back. Another squad car arrives, blue lights silently flashing. Motocop strides toward his unit, and another couple cops question the skinny chick with the fake cargo. Her trembling sidekick sits on the curb, hunched over. Ambrose walks, heart pounding, hands buried in his jacket as each step puts more distance between him and that messed up scene. A deep sense of relief propels him faster, and the phrase his grandma used to say echoes in his brain. God watches over children and fools. He turns the corner where city lights rise in the distance, a dense and complex constellation. And that's all for tonight. I'm so glad you stopped in to see me. We're going to have a new episode of Bedtime Noir every Thursday night at 10 o'clock. It'll appear on my blog and maybe some bits and pieces also on Instagram, a little bit on TikTok, and maybe Twitter. And so we'll see you here Thursday at 10 o'clock for the next episode. And take care and have a great week. Good night.